Welcome back, everybody. This is another week of available work. It's been a while since we've been in the studios. I am here with some very special guests from the Criss Cole Center, and we're going to do a little bit of introductions. I'd like to hear. Hopefully, this is just an episode to educate our viewing audience that's currently listening only on some of the programs that we have when it comes to vocational rehabilitation and just all the great stuff that we're doing. Criss Cole Center is a very exceptional. I was able to go and tour it, and I was wanting to start off by kind of talking to you as the audience. If y'all wouldn't kind of think to yourself, if you were blindfolded, would you walk into a place like a wood shop and start using the tools? And we're talking power tools and table saws. How confident would you feel that you were, that you would be, to come in and work on a project? And think of it that way. That's one of kind of the most remarkable programs that I've seen coming out of the Criss Cole Center, is to get somebody that is visually impaired to that confidence level that they would be able to go in there and create a project like they're putting out, like these cutting boards and all sorts of boxes. Just really, really neat projects that I wouldn't be able to do myself at my skill level when I'm talking about it. But yeah, think of that, and we'll talk about that and a little bit more. But right now, let's go from left to right, and please introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. My name is Tony Hurd, and I am on the Criss Cole outreach team. So we do a lot of traveling across Texas and support the center when we're in town. Oh, good, very good.
My name is Michael Sanchez. I'm a career guidance instructor, and my focus at the center is to help students kind of get back into the workforce, gain employment, really giving them all the tools necessary to be independent and get back into the workforce.
Okay. Hi, I'm Julie Johnson, and I'm the Criss Cole Rehabilitation Center Director. And, of course, my focus is to make sure that Criss Cole is running, that we're providing that quality customer service to our students with training, as well as the field, our field staff that make referrals to us. So, yeah.
Very good. A big part of my introduction when I visited the center to learn about it was really kind of dispel the idea that the students, the folks that are there, the residents, these are folks that may have just became or have their vision is deteriorating or have become completely blind through different degenerative issues or accidents, right? I mean, these are...
Yeah, correct. So some of our folks have actually lost vision for a long time. Maybe it was a genetic eye condition. Sometimes their vision begins to progress and they realize, oh, gosh, I need some skills training. And then, of course, we have some folks who suddenly lose vision from a traumatic event, maybe diabetes, diabetic retinopathy. So, we kind of get the whole spectrum of folks and where they're at in what we call their adjustment to blindness.
Okay.
So, actually, we are a residential training center, and we work with adults age 18 up.
Okay.
So, and we're housed right next to Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. So sometimes people think that we're part of, the school district, but actually we are, our program is under vocational rehabilitative services, and we are, designed to work with adults. Now, we do some summer programming where we may work with younger folks, on maybe some leadership skills or exposure, to different kinds of, what is my next step, when I get out of high school or, so we do summer programming as well. But our main focus is adults age 18 up.
Okay. How long has the Criss Cole Center been around? Like what was kind of the genesis of the program and its needs, really?
Yeah, so we've been around, believe it or not, 55 years, you guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So our building was built and completed in 1971. there was a judge who at the time had been in the legislature. He had been in the House of Representatives and then also a senator. He was blind. He had lost his vision in World War II, I believe, when he was a Marine. Mm-hmm. And so he's always, he had a passion for people who are blind and visually impaired because he lived the life and he knew how important it was to get that skills training, to be able to be independent. So he did a lot of advocating back in the day, as well as we had a couple of really powerful stakeholders, and I don't have their names in front of me, but between the stakeholders and Criss Cole, actually was his name, Criss Cole was made governor for a day, and on that day, he created funding for the Criss Cole Rehabilitation Center. So, and that's how all this started. So we've been going since 1971. We did have a construction kind of extension, where it got bigger because Texas is pretty big. And we have students from all over the state, that come and live at the center. Texas is growing. Our population is growing. So anyways, we have a statue of Criss Cole out in front of the building. Okay. You may have seen him when you, right. And he's got his guide dog there too. Yeah. So that was an important part of his choices for, traveling independently.
Yeah. Michael, what is it you take care of over there at the Criss Cole Center?
So I work in the career guidance department. So students come to us, like you mentioned, at all different ages and levels. Some students might be newly blind, are blind for several years. Some students are young, just out of Texas School for the Blind, visually impaired. And so we assess them, meet them where they're at, and really try to establish goals. Sometimes it's re-entering the workforce. Sometimes it's entering the workforce for the very first time, or exploring different career paths. Maybe if it's a young student, they want to go to college, or maybe seek a trade, some kind of certification. So spend a lot of time doing career exploration, doing some assessments, meeting them where they're at, and then really kind of giving them the tools to be successful. We talk about resume writing, interview skills, things like that. You can imagine interviewing can be very nerve-wracking. A lot of people get nervous, and it's normal. And so we do a lot of elevator speeches, ability statements, which is really working with students to teach them how to talk about their disability, sometimes especially in an interview setting, and really how to advocate for themselves. If someone should get a job and they need, let's say, some accommodations, maybe they need JAWS installed in their computer. We really talk to them about how to ask, how to approach employers, their manager, and do that. So along the way, we also promote things like volunteering. I think it's great to get our students out of the center and really get them some hands-on experience.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's kind of those are the internship stuff that
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're talking about like immersion, right?
Yeah,
a little bit of immersion.
A little bit of that. Yeah. Our students tend to get really comfortable in the center. They really enjoy it. They get comfortable. So sometimes it's good to get them a little bit out of their comfort zone.
Good.
And really put them in a real life work setting. So we kind of focus on volunteering, and we partner with a lot of employers, and that's also been another big focus of mine. It's going out to the business community, reaching out to some of my old contacts when I did business development, but also making new contacts. So yeah, absolutely. The hope is to really kind of make them as independent as they can. There's a lot of confidence building kind of embedded in a lot of the training that we do. And you can imagine that's important, right? Like when you give a student a lot of confidence, they feel like they can do a lot of things they never thought they could. So that's a little bit of my focus.
Yeah, I meant to mention that confidence. Let's talk about just kind of the experience. Well, can anybody tell me if somebody were showing up, next week, what do they go through when a first time arrival there at the center?
Tony, you want to take that?
As far as what classes would look like?
You have a student that just shows up the first day that gets registered there, and are there different routes for different
everybody starts off with getting a baseline of where they are in life and what skills they already have, and do they need alternative techniques for the skills that they used to be able to do but now they don't know how to do because they're experiencing their vision loss. So we start everybody off where they are and figure out how their training plan is going to work for them. Everybody does take almost all the classes at Criss Cole. They take a daily living skills class, which encompasses all of the things that you do in your day-to-day life. Your organization, your planning, training. It might even be some meal prep. It might be how do you get to the grocery store? What do you do there? It's really determining what people have when they come in as to how that program progresses. And the same with travel, cane travel, or orientation and mobility. We find out where they are, what they can do. Some people think that they can't even walk outside. So,
right,
and some people are like, ready, I'm at the street, but I don't know what to do when I get to the corner. Literacy is a big deal for us. We want people to be able to be literate, to be able to read and write for themselves, and to access printed materials because we live in a world where, technology is a big deal. Yeah, so technology, they get a little technology and figure out what path they want to take for that. And there's a team that helps them determine which way they're going to go and how long it's going to take them to get there.
Nice. Yeah, and part of that is part of your job is outreach. Are you visiting employers as well, or are you visiting schools? Are you?
We take Criss Cole on the road.
Yeah.
We do week-long mini trainings where we serve customers. We work with our partners in the field.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So usually people who we see, the majority of them are new to blindness, and they just don't know what kind of training is available. So we see them, and we go through a week of, we call it, it's Criss Cole. We do Braille, and we have technology. We do a little bit of dipping your pinky toe in the water. Yeah. And then people determine if they want to continue training in their region or to come to Criss Cole for more intensive day-to-day training. If folks are looking at the region, are they contacting Criss Cole Center directly, or are they contacting them? They're contacting our partners out in the field. We have 6 regions, and so they would go through the counselors in the field, and they get referred to either outreach or directly to Criss Cole if they want to just skip all of that and come on in. And we do work with employers. We've done blindness awareness trainings for plenty of employers out there, because we know that blindness is in the big picture of things, it's small and they don't think about it all the time. So we want them to be aware and understand how our blind people can work for them too. That's White Cane Day, isn't it? That's a big deal. Is that one of them? That's not. We all participate in White Cane Day. Okay. Yes. Yeah. That's, you guys are you do a lot for that too.
And really, kind of what Tony said about blindness, kind of an mini immersion. I've worked with employers where they come in and we take a tour, and they find out about the blindness immersion, and they actually invite their coworkers to come in for a couple of days training where they're under blindfold all day, and they're really kind of going through the schedule as if a student would. Yeah. Going to technology class, daily living skills, whatnot. And when it's all said and done, they have this totally different outlook. They get such perspective on how unique our center is and what our students are going through. So it's a really great way to make a connection and form employers and really form a partnership. Awesome. How long is it? I don't know. Is it range in average of how long somebody's a resident, or at a different level? Yeah. Typically, I'd say average is 6 to 9 months. However, it's very individualized. It depends on where the student is at, what their skill set is, what's going on in their life. Many of the students we get may have other disabilities than just blindness or visual impairment. So it just kind of depends on, where they're at. But generally, if we averaged everything, it'd be about 6 to 9 months. Let's talk about that wood shop. Whose idea was that? It's everyone's favorite class, I can tell you that. It's impressionable, I'll tell you. So, the wood shop is really a confidence building tool. Yeah. And when Criss Cole went through a strong initiative to do non-visual training and use blindfold to take away students' residual vision where they relied, on learning alternative techniques. That's when Woodshop was created, and it is a huge plus. It's everybody's favorite class. Yeah. The team that work with folks, just make them feel really comfortable. Which is really important, because once they go into the wood shop, then all the those big power tools sound, and it can be kind of intimidating. Yeah. So yeah, that's incredible there. And going back to this is all, we're all kind of on the same team where we're out there to give people jobs. Why is it critical to support this type of training for careers that are meaningful, inclusive, and competitively compensated? Well, from my point of view, we have so many students that come to us that have so much to offer, whether it's past work history, and maybe it's just a matter of getting some help to kind of transfer their skills to occupation, or young students that just want to thrive. They want to go to school. They want to get on a career path. And so I feel like without Criss Cole, without that support that we offer, a lot of blind individuals will fall through the cracks, unfortunately. And these are great human beings that can really contribute to organizations.
Where are they landing? Like, what if somebody were getting into the programs? Who are your outlets for, like, the employers? Any partnerships that y'all are doing right now?
We're constantly
in industries, kind of a thing too. Maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of my portion is kind of in the early stages, kind of mapping out different employers, different categories.
Yeah.
But I've touched base with. We had a partnership with Apple in the past. Indeed is going to be part of our Gear program. Some of the bigger, and then we kind of focus on some of the smaller employers as well. Some of the mom and pop, the local places, because there's a lot of value there as far as welcoming them in, having students come in, teaching them kind of a little bit about Austin, a little bit how things are here. So New World Deli has been a great partner of ours as well.
Yeah.
Spirit Rehabilitation Gym, the Thinkery at Mueller. So we have a lot of great partners.
Yeah, I frequent the New World Deli.
Yeah,
Italian subs. Yeah, they're really good there too.
We do have our summer program going on right now. It just started on Sunday. It's called Gear Up. And these are students aged 18 to 22 who come to our program for 5 weeks. And we're focusing on exposure, so career exposure. They're getting to talk to employers. We have employer panels. We have tours that they go on. They're working with, One Stop?
Career One Stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, they're having, getting to meet a lot of people. Actually, I think there's some internship panels where they get to talk to people who've done different kinds of internships. And it gets them thinking about, what do I want to do now that I'm out of high school? What is my next step? The last 2 weeks of the program are geared for college prep because, a lot of those skills are universal.
Yeah.
They may not be going to college or university, could be going to a trade school, could be, once you get a job, you got to go through training. So, a lot of those skills will transfer. They're also learning some of the blindness skills as they're working with us because that's our expertise, as well as we have a huge recreation component because when you're talking about young adults, we want to get them out there doing some leisure, meeting, bonding with each other, sharing information, just kind of normalizing the world of blindness and visual impairment, because that's huge. Yeah.
It's all geared toward meaningful employment and finding work that usually is just a minor accommodation that an employer can provide. I think that's kind of what what we're all working for. What message do you have directly to employers that would help some of your residents, and if it's helpful for them to know that we have motivated folks that are wanting to work?
Well, I think for me, and Michael, Tony, I'm going to let y'all share your thoughts too, but I think for me it's that people with vision loss can do things. I mean, we're ready. We want to work. It's about having those skills. Yeah. And many times we're very loyal employees. We're very committed. We work hard. And I think the other piece of it is we're always willing to learn. We have to stay on top of our assistive technology devices. Things are changing all the time, and those are tools we need to be successful. So I think all those things make a good employee. So
that's wonderful. Yeah. Tony, how often are you on the road?
It fluctuates, but we've usually gone for a week at a time. I think we were out for 8 or 9 weeks last year.
Visiting all the 6 regions, you said?
Yes, and for several different types of trainings. The mini training, the mini immersion training is the most popular training.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sometimes we're gone for 3 days. We've done technology training with both staff and customers in the field. In El Paso, we did that. So we travel a lot.
Your interactions with employers, how often are you doing visits like while you're out?
We always do volunteer activities out on the mini training. Everything that they talked about that Criss Cole does, we do on the mini training. Okay. We try to be visible in the public eye, and then try to make those contacts with employers as well. Visibility is huge. If they see 12, 15 of us, it's like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then we're really visible.
That's right. Yeah. Michael, how do you engage your employer partners?
Yeah. I take a simple approach. A lot of times really just educating an employer about us and just making them aware of us.
Okay.
Just totally opens doors for us. Most employers, once they find out about us, they're like, oh my God, wow, I didn't know about that. I didn't know all the services you offer. So sometimes it's just educating employers, letting them know who we are, the population we serve, and all the potential that our students have, and making them aware. Like we mentioned earlier, inviting them in on tours, partnering with them. And I can honestly say that I've never had a bad experience with an employer. I've never had an employer close a door or say, or anything negative. Yeah. So it's been great. Knock on wood. And even for gear, we've been working on gear since January, and we have about 25 employers on board to work with us, or that have done interviews, offer information interviews, job shadow days, some of the panels we have coming up. So yeah, it's been great. It's always good, and we definitely have to keep continuing to communicate, because a lot of folks that I see while I'm out and about around the state would probably be good candidates for those. So let's make sure we communicate with the regions. Tony, we'll always maybe we should get a little bit more frequent contact, so we can kind of keep reminding our employers that these are great opportunities that we're trying to get pushed out to all across the state. And again, I really appreciate you guys making your way over here to do this with me. I think it's an extraordinary program. It's very unique, and I know that you guys are helping a ton of people when it comes down to getting those folks through these programs and getting them, back to work, and getting them the confidence they need to excel. And I think that's what's important. Hopefully, this episode is going to help a lot of people that are out in the state that may not know that this program is available. And I definitely use it as a calling card whenever I come across some kind of solution that we can provide. This is a great solution. So we appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. Did we leave anything out? Anything y'all want to bring up? For all the employers out there, just reach out to us. We're a resource.
There you go. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming in, and we appreciate all the information. Y'all keep doing all the great work you're doing.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That's it, folks. Thanks for listening, and listen to the next one.